Welcome to Emerald Shores Learning. My name is Jamie Keyzer. In this session, we will explore co-regulation, the process through which calm, connected relationships help clients manage emotions and navigate stress. Together, we will examine how the clinician's nervous system influences the client and review practical strategies that support safety, connection, and emotional regulation. Before exploring specific co-regulation strategies, it is important to understand why co-regulation matters in clinical practice. While we often focus on therapeutic techniques and interventions, research suggests that therapeutic relationship itself plays a significant role in client outcomes. A client's sense of safety, connection, and trust can influence their willingness to engage, reflect, and participate in treatment. Co-regulation occurs when one nervous system influences another. In clinical settings, clients are often responding not only to what we say, but also to how we show up. Our tone of voice, pace, body language, and emotional presence can communicate safety and stability, or unintentionally contribute to feelings of threat or disconnection. As a result, co-regulation can influence several important aspects of treatment, including the development of the therapeutic alliance, client engagement, emotional safety, capacity for reflection, and overall treatment outcomes. Understanding these relational processes can help clinicians become more intentional about how they use their presence as part of the therapeutic process. To better understand co-regulation, it is helpful to first understand how the nervous system experiences safety. Stephen Porges's polyvagal theory suggests that our nervous systems are constantly scanning the environment for cues of safety, danger, or threat. He refers to this process as neuroception. Unlike conscious awareness, neuroception happens automatically and often outside of our awareness. Before clients decide whether they trust us, their nervous system is already responding to cues within the therapeutic environment. Clients may not consciously ask themselves these questions, but their nervous systems are often evaluating: am I safe? Am I understood? Can I trust this person? Can I stay present? When safety is present, clients are more likely to engage in the therapeutic relationship, access reflective thinking, and explore difficult emotions. When the nervous system detects threat, attention shifts toward protection and survival. As clinicians, understanding neuroception reminds us that effective therapy is not only about the interventions we use, it is also about creating an environment where clients feel safe enough to remain present, connected, and engaged in the therapeutic process. In many ways, co-regulation begins long before a specific therapeutic technique is introduced. If neuroception is how clients detect safety, then the clinician becomes part of that safety assessment. Clients are constantly taking in information about us, often outside of conscious awareness. Before they fully engage with our questions, interventions, or therapeutic techniques, they are responding to our tone, facial expressions, pace, and overall presence. This does not mean clinicians need to be perfect or emotionally neutral. Rather, it highlights the importance of being aware of the messages our nervous systems may be communicating within the therapeutic relationship. For example, clients may notice our tone of voice, whether we speak calmly or quickly. They may respond to our facial expressions, body language, and the pace of the conversation. They are also sensitive to whether we approach them with curiosity or judgment. When clients feel understood rather than evaluated, they are often better able to remain present and engaged in the therapeutic process. As clinicians, one of the most powerful questions we can ask ourselves is, what might my client be experiencing in my presence right now? One of the most common challenges in clinical practice is our tendency to move too quickly toward intervention. As helping professionals, we are trained to assess, educate, problem solve, and support change. While these skills are important, they may be less effective when a client is experiencing significant dysregulation. For example, we may be tempted to begin problem solving before a client feels emotionally safe enough to explore the issue. We may provide psychoeducation before establishing sufficient connection, or challenge thoughts before the nervous system is regulated enough to engage in reflection. Similarly, we may focus on changing behavior without first considering what the behavior might be communicating about the client's underlying emotional or physiological state. When clients are operating from a place of survival, many higher order cognitive processes become less accessible. In these moments, insight, learning, and behavior change may not be the most immediate need. Co-regulation invites us to slow down and ask a different question. What does this nervous system need right now in order to feel safe enough to engage? This does not mean abandoning therapeutic techniques or interventions. Rather, it means recognizing that connection and regulation often create the conditions that allow those interventions to be effective. In many cases, the most therapeutic response is not doing more. It is slowing down, becoming present, and helping the client feel safe enough to remain engaged in the process. Understanding co regulation is important, but the real question for clinicians is, what does this look like in practice? Often, co regulation does not require a complex intervention. Instead, it involves being intentional about how we show up in the therapeutic relationship. One of the simplest strategies is slowing our pace. When clients are distressed, they may already feel overwhelmed or rushed. Slowing the conversation can help communicate safety and create space for reflection. Our tone of voice also matters. A calm, steady tone can provide cues of safety to the nervous system, while a hurried or tense tone may unintentionally increase stress. Validation is another powerful tool. Validation does not mean agreeing with everything a client says or does. Rather, it communicates that their emotional experience makes sense given their circumstances and deserves to be acknowledged. Co regulation also invites us to approach clients with curiosity before interpretation. Rather than assuming we know why a client is behaving a certain way, we can remain open and explore what may be happening beneath the surface. Finally, connection often needs to come before correction. Clients are generally more receptive to feedback, insight, and behavior change when they first feel understood, respected, and emotionally safe. While these strategies may appear simple, they can have a significant impact on a client's ability to remain engaged, regulate emotions, and benefit from the therapeutic process. As we conclude, I'd like to highlight four key ideas from today's session. First, safety often precedes insight. Clients are more likely to engage in reflection, emotional processing, and meaningful change when they experience sufficient emotional and relational safety within the therapeutic relationship. Second, clients respond to more than our words. Our tone of voice, pace, facial expressions, body language, and emotional presence all communicate important information to the nervous system and can influence a client's sense of safety and connection. Third, the clinician's presence is part of the intervention. While therapeutic techniques are important, how we show up in the room can either support or hinder regulation. Our ability to remain present, grounded, and emotionally available contributes to the therapeutic environment. Finally, connection and regulation create the conditions for meaningful therapeutic work. When clients feel understood, supported, and safe, they are often better able to engage in reflection, tolerate difficult emotions, and participate in the change process. As a final reflection, I invite you to consider how greater awareness of your own nervous system may influence your clinical practice. What cues of safety do you intentionally communicate, and how might your presence support co regulation within the therapeutic relationship? Thank you for participating in this micro learning session on co regulation, the power of calm presence. The resources listed on this slide provide additional information on polyvagal theory, interpersonal neurobiology, and the role of connection and regulation within therapeutic relationships. I encourage you to explore these works if you would like to deepen your understanding of the concepts discussed today. Thank you for your time and commitment to supporting the well being of the clients and communities you serve.